this is amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters.
It's motorsport, but not as you know it. Test yourself and your everyday road car. Safe, affordable, but most of all, fun. And all you need is your daily driver. Experience the thrill of a sprint day. Race against the clock at a hill climb. Or test your reflexes with an auto test. It takes just 3 simple steps to get started. Get on the start line. Search Motorsport Australia Daily Driver today.
Fishies in a row. They're here to make a point and to do Eddie proud. They fan out in the background as they come down to turn 1 for the first time. It all looks pretty good, 2 by 2. We'll stop the camera here. Oh, Eddie would be proud, mate. That was awesome run around turn 1. But, oi! Contact with the fishies.
Oh, he's made it through. It doesn't look like Angus has made it, but Thomas Freeman's made it through, and Angus is going to suffer the crowd coming through there to be able to turn his car around.
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannon's insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride, whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride,
ride with Shannon's.
Call 134646 for a quote.
And they are off. It was a good start from Dylan to Bono. I think Phil Vella got a great start there in the background as well. You can see already cars going 5, 6 wide as they're trying to find any semblance of space. They come into T1. So far we've got 2, 3 wide as they snake down. There's Michael Conchar that's got around Dylan de Bono. A couple of cars going wide there. Was that a bit of contact in the back? Scott Pocock caught up in that, I think, there, buddy. But it's Michael Cuttajar's got past, so Dylan...
light is coming out and we're about to get going, and we have a green light and a very slow start for the 86s, but they are moving out there on the grid. It would be very interesting to see exactly which driver can capitalise on this first lap. Just go through the grid. Look like Jamie Christensen had a really awesome start to get ahead of Dylan de Bono, and Doug Gowage also jumped his teammate as well, so unfortunately Dylan stalled the car a little bit more than what he preferred. But
Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.
Still great classes of car, and if you are able to, if you're coming up the ranks on iRacing through the licenses, it's a fantastic sort of laneway into prototype driving, going from that GT3 up through the prototype classes as the safety car pulls in and we get ready to go green as we come up towards the line. Edwards, Hasler, who's going to get the jump down to turn 1, or will any of the fishies, any of the piranhas in behind them, assault them down towards
green and they're off.
First lap? Let's go here.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's.
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover,
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
This is amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because Tell you what, Bruce Tanek and Jamie Dyson just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he hasn't implemented it, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's see if we get a good run. God's just absolute thinker, but it is a really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome back to SRWtv. Tonight we jump back into the world of open wheelers for round 5 of season 2 of the 2024 Shannon's Formula 3 Nationals. With the real F1 cars in the streets of Monaco this weekend, we have chosen the iRacing version, or its equivalent, Long Beach, for our shadow round and 60-minute race tonight. It's Kelly Average Sim Racer here. I'm together with Hamish Munro once again, who's on the mic and behind the cameras giving us this great action here tonight. Well, Concrete Jungle, how awesome is it going to be tonight, Hamish?
Mate, Long Beach has, I've mentioned probably more times than I can count, is my favourite street circuit, not only on iRacing but in the world. It is one that I've got a massive affinity with, and one that I absolutely love driving, but also calling the action around as well. With F3 open wheelers around here, we've had quite a few races around Long Beach as of late. Of course, went there in the 8.6s not too long ago, as well as IMSA. We went here last season in the F3s, so it's good to be back here with the SF24s on track for their first attempt around here under Shannon's Formula 3 Nationals rules. But, you know, mirroring it up with Monaco, you've often said this is almost the US equivalent of Monaco. It was built with that in mind. It's going to be an hellacious challenge for these drivers. We're almost guaranteed to get a safety car here tonight. Now, I know we've had races around here where we haven't had one, and we've said we're almost guaranteed to get it. But knowing how feisty this field is, how feisty they've been all season, how hungry they are to try and get points, and across the 60-minute race, we've already seen cars going off here in practice. It's going to be tight, and I think we're going to see quite a few safety cars on track here tonight.
Well, you have opened the question nicely, tonight, buddy, so let's put you right on that fence. Straight away.
Go big or go home, Kelly. It's Long Beach, three safety cars.
3? Yeah, three.
I'm happy if I'm wrong this week, but it's Long Beach. As long as iRacing are willing to pull the trigger, I'm willing to accept the drink being put in my hand of a safety car, so hopefully it happens.
Yeah, look, I probably would have gone 3 because of the reckless rebel that I am. I'm going to have to say 4 rather than 2.
So you're not backing F3 admin Brad Hudson's opinion of going for 2. You're going to go with 4.
He went for 2, yeah. Well, that's another reason why I can't say 2.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I think regardless, we agree there's going to be a heap of chaos here tonight. There's going to be a heap of incidents occurring. And again, as long as race control are willing to pull the trigger on pulling that safety car on circuit, then we're going to be here, there, or ready to go, whether it's going to happen or not. I mean, we had 3 or 4 at Bathurst last season. Could happen here tonight at Long Beach. It's a short track, though. An hour-long race around here. Going to be a lot of laps for these drivers.
Well, I think I'm counting on the fact that safety cars will bring safety cars, and
that's true.
More safety cars.
Well,
but you know, look, it is. I think it's an inspired choice. I believe that the actual official F1 Shadow Series for iRacing are racing here as well with that same Monaco tribute. Might as well make it the tight concrete jungle, you know, that we put these boys on tonight. Temperature-wise, it's pretty hot out on track, 37 degrees at the moment at end of practice. I'll have to see if that goes up or comes down, but it's a fairly clear sky. I think, thankfully, for most of the drivers out there, rain is not on the horizon for tonight's race.
Yeah, I would have been worried if coming into the summer for the US only in only a couple of days' time, if they were getting rain in their fall. In their spring. Fall is after their summer, of course. But yeah, I think, you know, California putting on the best kind of weather we can ask for around a track like this. Rain around here would be absolutely diabolical. We'll see if it happens if we come back in season 4, of course, towards their winter here. But no, I think you know, this track, it has a feeling about it. If anyone's raced around here, you know how dangerous it is. You know how scary it is to try and get on the limit around this track and to try and push your car to its absolute limits. When you race around here, though, and I say this a lot, this track is a bit like Bathurst and a bit like Monaco. You've got to respect it, but sometimes this track doesn't care about your respect. It'll still spit you into a wall.
Well, the difference is when you're a V8 driver like myself, you like to eat curves, and there's a couple of places around here where you can take a lot of them. In this car, not quite as much, so it's really precision and, you know, taking maybe a bit wider line than you might do in some other cars, but the grip is there, so the speed is up, and, you know, with qualifying just starting as the cars come out of the pit lane, that's what it's all going to be about. It's who's the bravest, who can get through. The other thing that we may have to worry about is this going to be a quali that might get marred by someone getting caught up in someone else's incident. We know what the fountain can be like at the best of days. You get it slightly wrong, the car coming in next is not going to have a lot of time to you know, get through there.
Well, not just that as well, even the final corner and even into the Formula D section down at turn 9 before you come down the back straight underneath the shopping mall. When you come round into that tight right-hander with the tyres on the outside, it's a one-line corner, and if someone doesn't make it and they run straight, well, that can completely ruin your qualifying, completely ruin your heart and your soul as you're trying to get a lap around here. But the twists and turns, the tight concrete jungle that is Long Beach Street Circuit, it's going to offer up an immense amount of challenges here tonight. We had some great racing last week out at Imola, of course, and tonight it's going to be no different. Long Beach always offers up some great racing opportunities no matter what you are in. Dougie Gowan's picking a very interesting spot to pull over and let the cars past him here as qualifying is getting started. But it'll be David Gallo who will start them off, and he'll lead them away to start the qualifying efforts here out at Long Beach. Longest pit exit, though, like longest pit lane we will go to for the whole season here tonight, Kelly. It's a really long one, and it's a slow one. So if you get a drive-through here tonight, it could be your race over and done with if we're all out of safety cars and there's only so long to go in the race.
Yeah, 55% capacity the guys have for the race tonight. This is race info, about 23.5 litres. Our resident admin and information guru, Hutto, out there has said it's about a litre a lap around here. So, and if it stays green, well then you're looking at a sort of 51 lap race. Well, we predicted it ain't going to stay green, so I'd say we're going to look at somewhere in the 40s. But even then, that might turn this into a one-stop. So I wouldn't be surprised to see most of the drivers out there run long. But again, you know, tyres, I think we've seen a few of the guys take tyres. This, the Formula Super Light here, seems to, you know, not be as harsh on the cold rubber that the original F3 machine was. So I think you're not going to see guys, you know, drive to the end on these tyres. But then again, you know, track position is king in a concrete jungle like this. So you want to stay out in front if you can.
Well, I think the reason that these cars don't eat rubber as much as what the old F3 does is I think the more downforce these cars have, the better they are through the corners. It means they're able to disperse their grip a little bit better, so they're not actually on. Yeah, they're not eating up the rubber because they're able to stick to the road a bit better.
No, Shibby, it's more about the F3.
Shibby, wow, okay, Cowie.
Sorry, Shibby, I apologise. Jeez, wow. No, what I meant was that the tyres were so cold. Like the F3, it took you 2 laps to get them into that window. And that meant that if you tried to change tyres in race, you had 2 laps of the sketchiest moments, you know, in the middle of a race. So the drivers really avoided that. I think with these cars, as you said, they've got a lot more grip. And the drivers can drive with a bit more confidence on that cold rubber. And that means that, you know, tyres do come back into play, finally. Been commentating these for 3 years with Stevie as well as yourself, Hamish. What'd you say, you're up to 86 this one?
It's my 85th SRW broadcast.
85th.
So,
okay.
Actually,
so
no, this is my 86th. Last night was
yeah,
my
I thought
85th.
so.
Yeah,
I thought you said that. Yeah, that's right. So, you know, and, you know, tyres have been one of those things I've speculated on for 3 years. Maybe they're finally coming to fruition with the new car.
Well, maybe. Well, time will tell, of course. As we currently sit in qualifying, Matty Jarrett, it's an incredible time as he crosses the line for velocity. SimLabs. We've only had 15 drivers able to set a time here so far. Those being David Gallo, Matt Gerard, Daniel Byrne. They're the top 3 at the moment. Then it's Dave Roberts, Sam Catagazinos making up the 5. Timothy Schmalenberg, Mark Cochran, Alan Dawson, Ben Brook. Although Chai Kinzel Philho now gets into the top 10. He now drops Ben Brook down to P10 as Chai sits in P9. Josh King, Callum Rosanita, Tyler Sheaf, Keaton Caldwell's now gone up to P11. Kevin O'Neill, Danny Matisic all on the timing tower. They're all on the board at the moment. As Knitska, Johnston, Verney, Pocock, Benici, Walker, Sinkovic, Schmalenberg, Ratcliffe, Tessiera, Wakefield, Gowans, DeBono and Hodgkinson get to set times. But I do believe that Dylan DeBono may have a real good penalty for running out of fuel last week.
That's right, he did go for the victory, and that is the consequence. So that will be interesting. One of our fastest cars running right at the back, and as you said, I mean, he probably would have been the favourite again tonight for the pro field, and at the moment he's got a fairly commanding lead on the championship.
Well, he is on track as well, so he must be able to qualify.
So he's got 62 points over Gallo, and Doug Gowans is a further 60 back from that. So, you know, look, there's quite a, I'd be 5 or 6 points per position for tonight, so there's a good spread. So those guys will be hoping that DeBono gets caught up at the rear for a long time. The real problem is that when you're at the back of 20, 30 cars around a place like Long Beach, you know, the accidents can be thick and fast in front of you, and you know, you're going to either get caught up by them or you know, end up with a blocked track in front of you.
Hutto's saying 25.3 litre tank capacity, typo in race notes, apparently. So
that will open it out a little bit. So perhaps a one-stopper for the fuel savers out there, maybe. But as we've said, we predicted carnage galore tonight with plenty of visits from the promo department safety cars. So I'm sure one stop somewhere in the middle. If a safety car happens sort of somewhere near the middle of the race, these guys should be able to get it home.
Brad Innocent in the chat saying, let's go Josh, flying the flag solo for SRW. Oh, you know he's not. Dean Sinkovic is out there. Thank you, Brad. Put some respect on the Sinkovic name, please. He's out there flying the flag for them.
That corner that the cars were just flying through there, that's probably one of the big difference corners. You know, in an open wheelie, you go no either those curves. In the V8 supercar, you jump half of them. So, you know, up here, I think the curves at the end of this straight, you could probably get away with in the super light. Though, again, I haven't seen what damage was like, but I was doing some little ghost racing out with these boys there before in the practice, trying to see where it is, and it's a wicked track in this car.
Oh, it's full commitment for the whole lap. You know, you never really get a chance to breathe until you get back on that main straight that we come down towards turn 1 at. Hutto was saying it's 4 points per position. The window is lap 23 to 26 here tonight. So we're looking to see when those drivers start to come in, when they start to file in. Maybe they start to come in if there's an early safety car, just to, you know, if you're up the back, haven't really got anything to lose, you come in, put a bit of fuel in the car, maybe fix some damage that's on it. Might help you later in the race when you have to take a regular pit stop under green. So we'll see how that all pans out, how the strategies pan out as well. As we currently stand though, it is David Gallo pole position at this stage with a 113.39 at this moment in time. Doug Gowans though P2 on the road with a 113.6. Dave Roberts is then P3 with a 113.6, and Alan Dawson is P4 with a 113.6 as well. Top 4 positions, 4 different drivers from 4 different teams here tonight, as Matty Gerard is in the first double up for Velocity SimLabs, who's in P5 on the road, P1 for the Pro-Ams at the moment. P1 for the amateurs, Timothy Schmalenberg on P12 at this stage in qualifying.
DeBono P6 in quality at the moment, so if he does have a rear grid, that hasn't been announced to him. Out there, 0.4 off the top at the moment. Again, this is one of those places where you really want to get down a decent lap early so that you can really have a go at it. Because, you know, the moment you start having a go at the qualifying around here, you're risking, you know, binning it. So you want to make sure you've got, you know, a good lap already up there first, a nice late banker that's got a bit of pace to it. Because then that gives you the opportunity to send it. You know, if you're getting towards the end of the session and you're one of the 4 or 5 drivers that are still yet to put a time down, I think there's 2 of them. It's just Matt Tessiero and Sean Benici at the moment. So maybe they are the drivers with rear grids. But, you know, if you set a good time down early, then that affords you the chance to push. Normally, with a fixed setup here, you know, the guys will be looking to maybe try and keep those tyres, burn the fuel down, and then maybe come in and grab some rubber again to go at the end of the session. But, you know, with those walls so close, I think it's just about getting a lap down, then pushing and see how hard you can really go and how close to those walls you can go without touching them.
Speaking of Mr. Benici, he's in the chat as well here tonight saying good luck to everyone. Good luck to you, sir, if you are racing out there in the F3 field. We are currently 10.5 minutes into qualifying with just under 5 minutes to go, although being a normal round here tonight, Cowie, they can go past the 15 as long as they start the time, or as long as they start the lap, I should say, before the time is up. David Gallo leads the way to Alan Dawson, Dave Roberts, Doug Gowans, Matt Gerard. That's the top 5. DeBono Kanitska on the bubble. Ratcliffe, Byrne, Schmalenberg make up the top 10. Daniel Byrne, a bit far down the order after a couple of weeks away.
It's a funny thing, sim racing sometimes. It can be about rhythm. So, you know, Daniel's been off the rig, I think, for a few weeks. And, you know, when you sort of jump back on again and you haven't driven in a bit, it's probably the opposite of golf. You know, golf always seems to be one of those games that you, you know, if you take a break, you come back and you shoot your best score you have in a while because you forget all your bad habits. But, you know, any form of motor racing, sim racing, you know, it's all about, you know, keeping those skills current, and you know, you can get a little rusty, and you know, it doesn't take much for you to be off the pace. In this field, we've seen it separated by hundreds and thousands, not just tens. So, you know, a bit of work for Daniel, but we know that he's a pretty good driver, and you know, he'll be thinking the long game tonight and try and get back into it.
You a big golfer, Cowie?
Used to play a bit. Got myself down a single figure handicap, so I was pretty happy with that. But as a muso, I was finding playing golf on a Saturday morning and playing a gig on Saturday night was not doing very good for my hands. So I've sort of had to, you know, cut the golf back. I was a big cricketer for a long time too, but you know, more and more music, my weekends getting taken up by my music, so I'm sort of looking after that. So I'm going to have a hit on golf tonight, have a hit on Monday or Tuesday, not the weekend.
Well, as we can see now, Dylan DeBono did manage to get into the top 3 of qualifying now with only 2.5 minutes to go in the proceedings, although he is on for an absolutely wicked lap as he comes round. He's on 2 purple sectors and 1 orange as he comes down to cross the line. Will it be good enough to put him to the top of the timing tower? We'll see as he crosses the line here in qualifying. Has he gone any better? He has. He's gone a 12.9 in qualifying. That's the best of the session and the first we've seen get into the 12 so far.
The advantage of, you know, having a couple of decent laps and then he can push really hard. You know, knew that, you know, if he did get it wrong, then the worst he's starting is 5th or 6th. You know, so again, it's just that advantage of being able to get a lap down early. This will probably be the last chance if anyone's coming out of the pits. They might get a chance to get one more lap in. It's not a long lap around here. Only a minute, minute 13, minute 14 for these guys. But yeah, we're talking the top 8 drivers all under the 1 minute 14, and then look at that gap from like P9 to P16, and they are separated by, what's that, 2/10?
Well, the whole field down to P25 is separated by less than half a second between each other, so pit lane start for car 663, so that is for Nick Schmalenberg. Sean Benici's had to pull out of the race, unfortunately. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Sean. Hopefully you can join us again soon. Apparently he was impeding during qualifying. So Nick Schmalenberg has impeded someone during qualifying, and he's now been given...
I heard a driver on the radio there before call something out, so that's what's happened.
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose it is easy to get tripped up out here, but you know, that's where you've got to pay attention to your relative, and you know, normally I suppose the problem is like at a more open track, you can go off the actual track limits and let the car through. It's a little bit harder in the concrete jungles. That means you've got to really keep an eye on your relative a bit more than normal, know where the cars are around you.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Sean. Hopefully he feels better soon. We look forward to having you back on track next week. Only 15 seconds left in qualifying now, though, Cowie, so this will be the final run for these drivers. Both David Gallo and Dylan De Bono are still out on track, and De Bono's on for possibly a personal best when he crosses the line. Gallo's going to come round. He's got De Bono behind him. He's not quite close enough to give him the tow, which he'll be thankful for. But as Gallo comes across...
And he won't get another lap either.
No. De Bono comes over. Does he better his time? He doesn't. Neither does Gallo, and I don't think there's anyone else out there that's actually going to be able to challenge that pole position of Dylan De Bono at the moment with that wicked 112.95 here tonight.
Well,
what a lap.
Versus drivers out. That's crazy fast lap around.
He impeded Tyler Sheaf in turn 1, apparently. So apparently that's why Nick has been given the penalty, as he impeded Sheaf.
28 cars on the grid tonight, Hamish. So 28 cars in a concrete jungle like this. I know these cars are a little bit smaller than a V8 supercar, not by much, but they also look like they might break a little bit easier off the walls.
We'll have to wait and see as Dave Roberts comes across the line. Daniel Byrne has found himself in P6 though, so he has gotten a better lap into him here tonight. Dave Roberts goes P2 on the road with a 113.26. So out of absolutely nowhere, Dave has managed to put himself on the front row of the grid for tonight's proceedings.
Sitting P5 there, and I thought that was a pretty good effort, and then he pulls that lap out there. So I was having a look. It actually looked like it was getting a little bit cooler by a couple of degrees at the end of the session. I might have made a comment last night saying that the tracks have a tendency to get hotter for the V8s in quali, or went the other way for these guys tonight. So that's why we saw some fast times at the end of that qualifying session.
Well, it definitely helps some of them. Timothy Schmalenberg is still out there trying to better his time. I don't think he's going to be able to do it, as he's now way past the threshold of the 15 minutes. And everyone else is probably in the pit lane going, come on, Tim, just come in the pit lane. He has now. So we can get going and racing here tonight around Long Beach. Your starting grid for tonight's race is as follows. It'll be Dylan De Bono on pole position alongside Dave Roberts in P2, with David Gallo and Matty Gerard making up the second row. Matty Gerard will start P1 for the Pro-Ams for Velocity Sim Labs. Alan Dawson and Daniel Bernal line up in behind them on the third row of the grid, with Doug Gowans and Marcus Knitska on the fourth. Scott Pocock and Shane Ratcliffe will then make up the top 10, with Timothy Schmalenberg P1 for the amateurs, P11 on the road here tonight. He'll start alongside Benjamin Booker, Frogbleak Juiced Racing out of P12. As they move down to P13 for Sam Katakazinos, with Josh King alongside for Team SRW Motorsport. They'll start ahead of Keegan Colwell and Chai Kinzel Philho. Mark Cochran and Danny Manishich will then make up the top 18, with Callum Rosanita and Callan Hodgkinson making us a Callum Callan double up for the 10th row of the grid here tonight. Kevin O'Neill and Tyler Schieffelin line up alongside each other, with Martin Walker and Nathan Verney making up the top 24 cars out on circuit here tonight. As they move back to P25, that'll be Kevin Wakefield alongside Dean Singovich, with Greg Johnson and Nick Schmalenberg making up the rest of the running order. Matt Tessero never set a time in qualifying. Sean Bonici's had to pull out, as Adam Hughes, Greg Barber and Greg Leake will be our race controllers here tonight.
It'll be quite interesting tonight, see how these guys get through. Remember, the fountain is the big choke point here at Long Beach, and you're going to have, 28 cars try to go through that almost simultaneously in a mere minute or so. So, looking forward to this. 4 safety cars. How much do you want to put on a safety car straight up here, Amy?
Oh, the house.
All right.
I tell you what, though, if there's any driver who's not going to get copped by it, it'll be Nick Schmalenberg, being that he is starting from the lane. So, might pay dividends here tonight, because there could be a lap 1, turn 1 incident incoming. The fountain may be a ramp tonight. I think it's going to be more than that. I think it's...
I remember putting a video up on my channel when I first, fairly early into my iRacing career, where I started from last, and I think I was third by the first corner with just the carnage in front of me in an official race. So Long Beach, it is one of those tracks that seems to bring out the best in people, And, if someone gets it slightly wrong, taps someone at that fountain, well, there's going to be a lot of cars that have got nowhere to go.
Well, 30 seconds left
Ramp.
on the timing tower.
I remember. There might be a
remember.
ramp tonight.
Yeah. I remember in one of my first efforts around here in Ferrari Challenge at Long Beach, I started from the pit lane. I think I was roughly about P30. I won the race after 20 minutes just by starting from the lane and keeping my race clean. Everyone else crashed around me. And just made my way through. So it can pay you benefits around this circuit, but this will be a lot more highly contested than a Class D official here tonight. Lights are going to go up. We're going to go racing around Long Beach here for 1 hour of racing. How many safety cars will we get if we get any? All the questions about to be answered. Let's go for Long Beach. DeBono off the start line ahead of Roberts. It was a good start for them. Gerard went off slow though as Byrne got a great run off the line and he now makes it 3 wide through turn 1.
Great start there from Daniel Byrne, putting the fight immediately. Looks like Roberts and DeBono fighting for the corner here. Gallo slotting into P3 and his teammate there right up with him as well. Alan Dawson in a bit of a spinch. But so far, well, the house will be gone. Looks like they're all going to get through the fountain. And that's almost unbelievable.
I've got no idea how they've done that, to be honest with you. As Nick Schmellenberg's now come out of the pit lane. As the leaders continue on, as Roberts is challenging DeBono here for the lead. He's not letting him get anywhere at the moment, Cowie.
Having a good crack here early on. This is where you can push. I mean, again, we say that the race, it can't be won in the first lap. But, you can set it up with a good start here, and already these boys battling hard. I don't think anyone told them it's an hour race.
No, I don't think they did. Daniel Byrne's already up 2 spots into the top 4. So he's now able to pay his teammates some dividends. Josh King's going slow down the straight. Unsure what he's done as to why he's doing that. Possibly copped a slowdown for getting a curb strike around here somewhere. But DeBono's now led them on to lap number 2. We've survived the lap, Cowie. But how much longer will we survive as these drivers get more and more feisty to make up more and more positions?
It's hard to see where you can pick up a slow down here without a bit of contact. This T1, it can be a troublesome corner, but I think that these cars have got a lot of grip through here. Doing that Ghost racing before, you could, really can't really grip up here. So a corner that generally provides a lot of trouble for something like the V8 supercar, and those cars that slide out in the rear like NASCAR, but these things here seem to be handling it a bit better. And so far, the field is just line astern, even though we are seeing some good push driving from people in the field. It's so far everyone's avoided contact with that dreaded white wall.
See Timothy Schmalenberg, he has stayed where he started this race. P11 on the road, still leads the amateur class, but he has got a fast approaching Keegan Caldwell in behind him. You can see Keegan there in behind Sam Katakizinos. We'll see if Keegan can have a better run here tonight than what he did in the IMSA series around here only last Friday night. But he's done pretty well second in class, as Callan Hodgkinson has had an incident and he's on his roof.
Oh no.
And, well, I would say that's surely going to be a safety car.
Generally being on your roof is not a good sign of being part of it. So what's happened here is he's
come around the corner.
And a little bit of wheel contact
my God.
Oh, there's contact there as well. Who was that got caught in that? Car number 3, Danny Matisic. I think it was Danny Matisic. Contact there, so he must have to see him in the lane. Yeah, look, I was going to say, I did see Keegan last night sticking out of a wall. Halfway up, looks like he got a sticky wall during the V8 race last night, and Daniel Byrne with us a bit as well. That's got to hurt. Look at this. That's cost him a bunch of positions. He was running, what, P5 at that time?
Callan is still there. I do believe we have a safety car, Cowie, because he hasn't moved ever since he got onto his roof.
Yeah, no, I heard the call come out. So our race controller, Greg Barber, on the radio advising the driver safety car at T1. It's probably a bit early for these guys to even think about pitting at the moment, unless you picked up some damage. So suppose the big moment, Daniel Byrne with that spin, that dropped him about 6 or 7 positions. He's down 4 off the start. Benjamin Brook up 3 into P9. Other big mover, Tyler Sheep up 6 into 16th. And Matt Tessio are up 5 positions from the back of the grid as well. So, you know, a few good movers early on. Safety car number 1, and we are inside the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say that's 1. Also, just confirming, Hutto, I know the towing tail wasn't on. I save it for like the 3rd lap. I try to keep it off screen so we can get as much action on track as possible. That's why I've also been using the 3 letters option instead of just first letter, first name, and then full last name, because it helps us get a lot more of the action on screen. But don't worry, we give out the info as we can as well in those first couple laps while the timing tower's not up. Benjamin Brooks just dropped. He may have just dropped out. No, he's back. He was blinking. So he may drop out of the session if he's not careful. But he has moved out of the way since he is blinking, which is good.
At the moment, his quality's dropped a little bit. His ping's not super high. Just his quality of his connection's dropping a little bit at the moment. So race control will probably be keeping an eye on that. It can be rather distracting for the drivers out there on track when you see a car blinking in and out in front of you, and it appears inside you, you'd be in big trouble. Driver 808 being told to hand over a position to him. Looks like there's a couple of spots. So back in P12 now, Daniel Byrne. A bit of work to do to get back up where he was. Up front, Roberts with a nice promising attack at De Bono there early on in the race. We know that this track is hard to pass at, but it's not impossible either. So, and we've already seen, these guys taking a few different lines through T1. So that's telling me that, there is an opportunity to go up the inside or even to sort of hold the line around the outside if someone tries to, get up your inside into T1.
Yeah, it's, it's very, very thin line of margin through there. You can get it done. It takes commitment and consideration from both drivers, though, not just the driver making the attempt. It also comes from the driver who is being passed as well. They need to just leave the room and let it happen. No point defending it because you're both probably going to end up in the wall if you do that. Timothy Schmalenberg, Mark Cochran have both come in the pit lane here during the safety car. So they'll now drop to the back of the field, possibly taking a bit of extra fuel in to save on the stop a bit later on, possibly also trying to fix some damage.
I don't know if Timmy, he might have picked up some damage maybe. Mark was... he was in the thick of things too, so... Well,
he was in that
maybe
contact,
those guys have had a little bit of contact to the wall.
Well, he was in that contact with Callan.
Early on.
It was Callan who hit him with his rear tyre, and that's then what's put him on the top of his air intake. So he might just be in there fixing some steering.
One of the things these drivers have stated that, a slightest little bit of damage can cost you a second or more because the car's just, that little bit unbalanced. It's not doing what it should, or... there's, pitting that early, it would probably be damaged because, again, you don't want to be using your fast repair up really early if you can avoid it. It's an hour race. There's plenty of time to tag a wall somewhere near the middle of this race. And that's what you'd like to have that in the bag if you have it there at your disposal if you need it.
I'd say safety car probably in this lap, Cowie.
Yeah, he's pulling away from the field now, is he? No.
He is... Is he now? Hodgson.
Okay, yeah, so...
Something's happened to Hodgson. Oh, he's just slowed up. That was all it was.
Yeah, the pace of the...
he might pull away. He might pull away in the FD section. So he might leave it up to them.
He's pulling away. I just had lights out now.
Yeah.
So now he's pulling away.
Yeah. So the control of the field goes to Dylan De Bono, currently in P1 ahead of Dave Roberts. Roberts has been looking fast and feisty off the start line here.
Sheepy happy with his move on lap 3, turn 1. So I don't know if we want to show a replay of that for you, Sheepy, but you should probably concentrate on your racing at the moment.
Yeah.
Sitting P15, he's up 7 spots at the moment.
And De Bono looks to have gone off the exit of the final corner. We are green running once again at Long Beach. Lap number 6 9 minutes into proceedings here tonight, and DeBono and Roberts have checked out ahead of Gallo down towards turn number 1.
Caught the Carlin's Motorsports machine napping there a little, but looks like he has sort of brought it back. A little advantages here, that's what you're after on that restart. It's all about not giving the guy behind you a chance to dive in, you know, that T1. Watch the field come screaming through. You can see, like that there, I don't know who that was that ran a really wide line, but was able to turn it up and to get the car to turn and grip before he went into the wall. So, yeah, I don't know if T1's going to be the demon that it can be in some other class racing around here, but definitely this section here with the tyres, easy to get that wrong. And we know Long Beach has got more surprises than just that up its sleeve.
Well, DeBono leads our race still. He has started to check out a little bit here over Dave Roberts in behind him. Drive-through penalty for car 15 contact on lap 2. So that penalty has been given to Mark Cochran with Callan Hodgkinson. So we saw Hodgkinson had come around the corner on the inside, and I guess Mark must have moved over, and that's what's then caused the contact on the exit. That's what's happened. Dean Sinkovich has had an incident into the FD section. He's just run it a bit too wide. Lucky to not get the car stuck in the wall there. Looks pretty straight and clean, so he'll keep on going now as we continue on.
He avoided some major damage there. We just saw DeBono extremely close to the wall. You know, and you know, unfortunately, I suppose as a driver, that's where the speed is. And we've already seen Daniel Byrne with the spin there, trying to keep up. I mean, that's the pressure sometimes. You know, that these guys are driving the wheels off these things, and you know, when you've got to drive the wheels off it a bit more to keep up with them. Was that? Oh, it sounded like contact on the inside there, but I think he got away with it. Bit of movement in the background there. There's that Dawson making a move on Gallo. Maybe being a little bit compromised, a bit of a slower exit out there, and it got gobbled up quickly. So here's your prediction for a good result tonight early on, Hamish,
I said it was
before we
going to
went
be.
live,
I
didn't
said
you?
it was going to be an outside pick of like a Dawson or a Roberts or somebody else. I don't know if it's going to be one of the major players here tonight, just because of what we can sometimes see occur at a track like this. Although Dylan DeBono's looking to shut me up with my prediction, setting a 1:13.4 on the next green lap of this race. He has checked out from Dave Roberts by around about a second now up in P1. So DeBono doing his best to make me look like a liar and a cheater and someone who doesn't have any answers at all. As there's been an incident in the background, and it is a big one down at the final corner. Sinkovich is now coming around the final corner, and there is just parts everywhere on the track, and that's a car in the wall, and that I believe is Nick Schmalenberg.
Got going and able to get straight into the pits, so that will probably avoid a safety car. Someone's been given permission to tow, so again, you know, race control maybe singing in it. This is what's happened. Again, wheel contact, we've seen it again, and as I said, the problem is when you're racing close, if it happens in front of you, you've got nowhere to go. So unfortunately, a few of the boys getting caught up there. That probably cost, what, 3-4 drivers got caught out in that little moment.
Both the Schmalenbergs now into the pits. Hutto saying friendly fire too. You hate to see it as DeBono leads the way here over Dave Roberts. P1 and 2 of this race. It's been fast and furious early doors here. Gerard under pressure from Konitska in the battle for P5 on the road. Gerard has checked out though from P2 in class, and Shane Ratcliffe, we've got about a 3-second lead over him at the moment, who's back in P8 on the road, trying to chase down his teammate.
I'm trying to decide if I want to count that as a moral safety car, because, you know, someone towed there.
In saying that though, Gerard's been spun. So it almost feels like the intensity's starting to rise up a little bit now, Cowie. The pressure's getting some of these drivers. Yep, the curbs of death. And he's backed it out the way, luckily, but he's put it into the wall off the back of it. So just a simple spin, but a simple mistake like that can completely change or break your race. And that's all it's going to take from the likes of DeBono, Roberts or Dawson to drop out of the top 3, as Byrne is now under attack from Gerard, or he's putting the attack on Gerard now. Both these boys spun at that corner throughout this race, and now they're having a great battle for P9 on the road.
knows how close the margins are around here. And as I said, you know, these guys are pushing when, you know, you've got near hundreds and maybe 10 separating the cars on track. It means you need to take advantage of that toe, and you can see here Byrne looking for a big move up the inside, but the toe is strong enough for him to get it done before they even get to the corner. You can almost see Brooke was half thinking about a move there as well.
On board with him now, in behind this nice battle for P9 on the road. It's for the back end of the top 10. Brooke currently sits outside of it. Being an hour-long race, we don't get the reverse top 10 for a regular sprint round here tonight. It's just 60 minutes of hard, fast running. It's really going to be a race of attrition here, a race of survival for these drivers. If they can survive the 60 minutes, it will pay to their benefit, as long as though their competitors don't survive those 60 minutes alongside them. But it's going to be a big test. It's going to take tenacity, and it's going to take some wit and some proper racecraft to get everything you can out of this track and out of this race, as Brooke looks to try and chase down Matty Gerard, who's now let Daniel Byrne gap him by just about a second as we come through the FD section of this Long Beach track.
I think Huddo, our resident admin and information guru, has got a bit of a soft heart. He's made sure, you know, that Long Beach is one of those tracks that, you know, a long race is probably beneficial to the drivers. You get into a rhythm, get into a flow. You know, the weather looks like the rain gods aren't going to play a part tonight, which make this track absolutely diabolic, and we would be picking 7 safety cars, you know. But it does look like Hutto's got a bit of a soft heart, because these guys getting a chance to really sort of get into the flow of the track, and then sort of try and push their limits if they can. We've seen a couple of the other drivers push those limits early and come a cropper, so the idea is to try and stay as close as you can to the lead pack. Oh, and there's another moment there. Was that contact?
Oh.
We've got broken cars. We've got Catacasinas caught up in that. Who was with him?
That was Matt Tessierro with him.
And he's jumped to the pits as well.
So Matt Tessierro with another jumping to pits, I believe, without permission. So Sam's gone for the move. Oh, and Matt's just straight line the corner.
Straight up the inside there. So, is that car broken? It's not going anywhere.
He's tried to move it.
Yeah, he's got it going.
I just want to get the outside.
Fortunately, probably ruining his race. And Matt Tessierro, let's have a look here. He's just gone, I think he's just gone deep up the inside.
Why would you... No, he hasn't pulled out of the corner. Why would you run such a tight line through that corner? That is... You got to feel for Sam. He's had some great performances, and to have an incident like that is
car's grabbing too, but
yeah,
looks like
he's
going
gonna
to
have
get it back.
he's gonna have to try and pull it through the
short.
yeah. He's tried to go through the FD entry, so you got to feel
might
for Sam
actually
there.
give him a stop and hold as well.
I don't think he'll mind at this point. He knows he wasn't making it around the final corner, so just unfortunate for an incident like that to happen, but. We move on. Dylan DeBono's checked out in the lead by about 3.5 seconds at the moment over Dave Roberts in P2. Dave's looking so strong at the moment. Both him and Kanitska have been having some great runs as of late. They've made some mistakes in races past, but they're looking strong here tonight, and possibly some future challenges for these titles in F3 and even the F1 Shadow Series going forward.
Look, good to see these boys battling up front here. You know, we don't wish you know, bad results on people, but it's always interesting to watch one of the quicker drivers have to make their way through the field. But at the moment, DeBono, he's commanded qualifying so far this season. He started from the front row. He's got that initial break and has been able to run away with it. You know, we saw a mistake when he was chasing, but at the moment, he can control the race and everything's on his terms, and he's still sort of pulling out times at the moment. Roberts in the 14s, the rest of the field sort of in the 14s to the 15s, and DeBono's still in the 13 in this race, so he's pushing hard and setting that gap nice and early.
Howie, as a driver, do you find you have more pressure on your shoulders trying to chase down a leader and put assault on them than having to defend the lead?
It would depend. It depends on the situation, I think, really. You know, probably more pressure on you defending than there is on attacking. One of the things about, I suppose about attacking in that is your level of aggression, and I suppose I'm not the most aggressive driver out there. I tend to like to leave room and race door to door with people. But, when you know you've got pace and the guys in front, you slip behind it for a couple laps, then you can start to get frustrated, and that's when, you maybe need to have a think and set up your move rather than getting hot-headed about it. So, it can be frustrating both ways, but I find defending against a fast driver that you know is faster than you, and is putting the pressure on you, they're the moments that I love. That's probably because I'm not fast enough.
Matt Gerard has had another spin off the curb of death. Needs to be careful to reach, and he's got Nathan Fernie into the wall.
Oh no! Has Fernie disappeared? I hope he hasn't towed then, he's just disappeared.
He has, he's towed. And I reckon, you know what though, I reckon that there from Nathan may have just been instinct just to press the tow button.
Yeah, he's just on the radio saying there and he accidentally pressed it. But that is unfortunate. This is that 50-50 decision you talk about. You generally the rule is you try to go around the back of the car rather than the way it's facing. So he sort of made that call, but wasn't expecting Gerard to move, and that may well be a penalty on Gerard's point as well.
Well, it is still getting incident after incident around here at Long Beach. But what else could we expect from such a circuit? Mark Cochran's had another moment. In fact, he spun it round. Where is this? I believe this is... Oh, it's at the final corner. I was like, where is
at the
this?
moment, these cars proving a little bit more durable than we think, buddy. They're not falling apart like they're supposed to.
Yeah, the F3 car definitely would have lost a wing off this, although it is slow. Oh, the car's not turning. Is it not turning?
He's already got damage. Yeah, look at that. It's already left.
Yeah, the car's not turning. So he would need a tow off this, I reckon, because I don't know if he's actually going to be able to get it spun round and get it into the pits. This could be another safety car. It is a safety car, according to Hutto.
Yep. Well, Demoto going awful slow there, and he's just clutching in, trying to save fuel. So making sure this goes to a one-stop.
No, it's funny, Kerry. I was going to say before, we're 20 minutes into this race. You're happy with your 4 safety car prediction, and then we get one.
Well, at the moment, it's I'm not trying to bring commentator's curse or anything into it, but it's definitely keeping things bunched up. And concrete jungle like this, we know it only takes the tiniest little mistake, and we've seen that the pace so far has been quite frenetic, and that just makes those opportunities for mistakes. They just come to the bubble to the top at a place like this.
Isn't it funny how a track like this, the whole track doesn't necessarily test a driver. The same corner though will test you across every single lap. So Steph just said that he was having issues at that last corner, 2 or 3 laps. The last 2 or 3 laps had troubles at that corner. We know Matty Gerard's had troubles with turn 5. And hitting on that curb and spinning around. Some drivers have troubles with this corner here in turn, I think it's technically turn 8 is that corner, and then also down at turn 9 further down the straight. It's quite funny how that works out about this track. You'll be comfortable around every other corner, but there'll be one corner that you struggle with. And there'll be one corner that you try and get right, and you just make mistakes on it. It's the same mistake every single time, but it's the good drivers that can bring everything together and find a way to get around this place. The De Bonos, the Gallos, tonight the Roberts, the Konetskas, the Dawsons, even Byrne as well on his day. It's quite interesting how that works out.
Roberts is pitted, so he's gone for an early pit. That may well be a strategy masterstroke, because if the pit window was sort of in this period here, he's pitted under the safety car. I mean, if it stays green, yeah, right. It could be an absolutely cracker decision. But the other thing is, De Bono slowed it up pretty quick. And, that is, I think it maybe has given Roberts a bit of an advantage here. He's pitted, and he's in P8 at the moment.
Yeah, this has now put the pressure on De Bono in terms of it's putting strategic pressure on him. It's putting pressure on him via a strategy. you're now forcing his hand and forcing him to make a decision. If there's another safety car, does he pit, doesn't he pit? If he pits, he's going to lose position to Roberts. If he doesn't pit, he's then going to probably lose the win to Roberts because he would then be at a strategic disadvantage.
Well, he's going to have to pit. You know, they don't have enough fuel to get around here without a pit stop. So the issue is that if the window opens at 25, 26 minutes into the race, then what we say, it was 25.3. It's about a litre burn a lap. So they say you're looking at 25 laps. At the moment, we're on lap 17. And based on the timing, it's saying maybe it'll go 45, 46 laps. So you're talking another 28. So that's really close to that window. Maybe with a little bit of a save, or as you said, another safety car, take a bit more time out of this race. And, the strategy I pulled up off last night, I think it may well be in play for Dave Roberts tonight.
We'll have to wait and see how it plays out for him. Wave rounds are going to get underway, of course. Timothy Schmalenberg needs a wave round. Mark Cochran, Callum Hodgson, Sam Catakazinos, Nick Schmalenberg, Dean Sinkovich, Matt Gerard all need a wave round. I believe Matt Tesseriero, Nathan Verney. Well, Matt Tesseriero will be getting a disqualification because he towed without permission. I believe Nathan Verney would also get one, even though he did it by accident. It technically counts. He did it without permission, so he would also get disqualified. So
I didn't hear if race control had exonerated that. I've left as it is, but here the wave around, so all the cars pull over, just calling them through.
And the field giving them absolute real estate to come past at the moment. So we'll probably be under safety car for another lap or so, possibly two. Our step saying Mark's out, so Mark will not be getting his wave around as he's not on track.
Yeah, well, only one fast repair for these guys tonight, so if you come in and fix it and then have another moment, it's likely going to put an end to your race. But yeah, look, I think this is playing right into Dave Roberts, Marcus Konecka and Alan Dawson, Daniel Byrne, those four drivers all taking the opportunity to pit. So that's P8 down.
to P11, so...
Yeah, so those four drivers there, maybe, they've saw that it was right on the... One of the things, if it's right on the edge of the window, and you can go a couple of laps under the safety car where you're burning half a lap of fuel or less, then that's going to add another lap onto your factor. So, I think these guys have pitted at the right time and they're going to be able to get home. So it's really going to be our front 5 or 6 cars. They're going to be front 7. They're going to be hoping that there's another safety car that they can take advantage of. But the thing is, they don't want it now. They want it to happen in another 20 minutes time.
They want it to happen right on their window.
Yeah,
right. They want it right on that 23 lap mark.
Actually, thinking about that, it's not. We're already 27 minutes into this race. The window was, again, maybe these guys can go to 30, 35 minutes into the race. With this safety car, maybe 40 minutes into the race. So, so that means they need something to happen in the next 12 or 13 minutes. And that doesn't give them a lot of time to build a gap in where they can, hit and come back in a position to still fight at the front.
What I think could happen, Cowie, so if there's not a safety car in the next 12 or so minutes...
There was a car flying up the inside there. Has there been another wave around?
Yeah, that was Sam Catakazinos.
Last 2 wave rounds, because that was almost a heart and mount moment there.
So just quickly, I think if there's not another safety car, but prior to these guys needing to pit, I think if they come in and there is a safety car afterwards, I think it may even be worth the likes of Roberts or Konecka or Dawson or Byrne to come in, take fresh rubber, no fuel, just fresh rubber, and then come out under that safety car. We're on fresher rubber. You won't give up too much time to the Bono, Gallo, Gowans. You'll be able to attack for that final 10 or so minutes after that safety car period. But that's only if we go 10 to 15 minutes without a safety car.
Yeah, I think Long Beach, it's all about track position. You're not going to give that up. It's a hard place to pass. we said not impossible, but it's a hard place to pass. I think that those guys that pitted early on, you know, they've taken a nice little leap of strategy. DeBono going straight away there on the final turn, able to again get that little sort of 0.5, 0.6 gap as he crosses the line, prevent the toe, working for Gallo. And looks like, you know, he's caught a couple of the field running. They've all spaced out quite a fair bit as we start lap 19 here, coming on to halfway through our race tonight.
Turn number 1, making sure they can keep it nice and tidy through here. They look pretty good through turn 1. There hasn't really been any incidents through here tonight. They've done well, Cowie, as the rest of the field's a bit more spread out in behind them, as the Bono starts to check out from David Gallo at the moment in P1. But the asterisk is, how will the strategy work out for this man out the front of the field? He's been the talk of the town for this series this season. Rossinida's dropping a spot as well at the moment. I believe Nick Schmalenberg was involved in an incident prior, and it is. It's down at turn 2.
In the wall.
Down at turn 2, and I believe he's actually parked up at the moment. He might be stuck. We could get another safety car straight away if he can't move that car.
Here, if you got permission to tow then or not. Trying to listen to race control to see if they give you permission to tow.
Bono coming round the first corner. Barb's over the radio.
Safety car has been called again. Right, so that's 3 safety cars now. So with still half of this race to go, Hamish, how you feeling being on wood?
I'm all right at the moment, mate. I'm going pretty good. I told you I was going to go big or go home. I'm not mad if I get it wrong. We've had a heap of safety cars here tonight already in the first half of proceedings. Let's really check out how this happened to Nick Schmalenberg, as we are under safety car now. So he looks to have done it all in his lonesome. He's come through into turn 1. Steph's tipping 5. I don't know if we're going to get 5.
Oh, there it is. There, look at that.
Yeah, and I reckon that the rear wheels have got to be detached.
Oh, well, you can see there it's broken.
Yeah,
the rear suspension is broken there. That's why it's not going anywhere. 75, yeah. I was just thinking myself that maybe 4 was being conservative. Yeah. So, but look, these guys, I think, look, they're flying. They're staying on the pump, because I reckon you're going to watch DeBono and that come into the pits here. Yep.
Yeah.
All of these guys are going to come into the pits, see if they have built up enough of a gap. But at the moment, yeah, look, I thought they missed a trick, and I think this extra safety car here is now meaning that, you know, even the guys that pitted before, slow up enough. This is going to give them enough time to get home. I said maybe 1 safety car would work for their fuel numbers to get them home.
What this might do now is this could be a massive blunder from them, because now it's such a long pit lane, they could drop outside the top 10, have to battle their way through.
Safety car out there at the moment, it hasn't picked up.
Yeah, it hasn't come out. Trikins or Philho, it has now.
Here we go, it does, yeah. Philo never pitted.
He's stayed out. I think this is a big blunder by Tri.
Yeah, I think he's missed a trick there as well. I think you're right. Yeah. And Steffi's saying she's ambitious in her predictions. I agree, Steffi. You know, it's all about the carnage. Not really. It's about seeing great action. But I think, you know, safety cars and Long Beach are, you know, almost not a marriage made in heaven, maybe a marriage made in hell.
Well, since we are under safety car once again, Cowie, complete change of topic for a moment here. Since we are at my favourite street track, I wanted to pose a question for you. What is the one thing you want to pull out of a favourites box? What's the one chocolate you want to be able to pull out of that box when you get your hand in there?
In the favourites?
Yeah.
I'm pretty much a fan of some white chocolate, I think, in that surprise, so maybe a Cadbury Dream.
Oh.
But I do like Top Deck, you know, so we can get a bit of both.
How do you feel about caramel?
I don't mind. I used to like caramel Kamalas as a kid. Though I must say my my current chocolate fad has been the Cadbury Kit Kat version, the Breakaway, because it's a bit thicker than a Kit Kat.
I'm sorry, I need to interrupt you. Stephanie has now lost her role as Friday night commentator with those comments in the chat right there. No.
Turkish Delight or Cherry Pie, wow.
Yeah, no. No.
Oh, we know we've got strange taste sometimes, mate, so, you know.
No, mine is either a picnic or a Morrow. That's what
Okay.
that's what I like.
I don't know, when I think about picnics, all I can think about is the pool scene at in Caddyshack, so, you know, I think I could eat a picnic.
Maybe a Boost, you know, or a caramilk.
Oh, those Boosts, aren't they a gimmick, putting guarana in a chocolate? Don't we get
No,
enough of
they used to do that. They don't do it anymore.
Okay, they don't anymore.
No, they used to do it in its initial release, and then when it changed its branding, they stopped doing it. So.
It is one of the best claims to fame we have in Australia is that our chocolate is way better than, you know, most of the places of the world. You know, Americans seem to swoon over our chocolates when you watch those reaction videos and they get gifts from our country.
Well,
Give them
Morrow.
some Tim Tans, man, and they'd collapse, wouldn't they?
Well, a Morrow is from New Zealand, so it's
there you go.
made at the Cadbury factory in Dunedin. So yeah.
Well, Kiwis got good taste as well, so
They do. Cadbury fish is elite. In their favourites boxes, they get Cadbury fish, and we don't. I feel insulted by the Kiwis for not letting us do that.
Steph has given up her real secret for choosing them is that she doesn't have to fight for them. They're the ones that are left behind. I know my mum loves buddy Turkish Delights as well, so.
Your family is weird then, Steph, if they're fighting over Turkish Delight. I'm not gonna lie. Safety cars pulled away though after that little break of talking about chocolate there. You know,
Philo.
Yeah,
he's at the front here. Oh, look, he enjoys run at the front here, but I don't think he's going to have too many laps of fuel left in this car. So, and unfortunately, you know, a pit under green is going to put him a long way back. How did De Bono come out of that on P12? So that decision to not pit under the first safety car, that's cost Dylan De Bono 11 positions, and he's now well in that.
Well, he's provisionally probably P9 at the moment, because Chai hasn't pit, Kevin O'Neill hasn't pit, and Dean Sinkovich came in on lap 9, as Dave Roberts is already about to take the lead here over Chai Kimsel-Filho down the inside at turn 1. Fresher tyres, a lot more fuel in the tank, he gets the job done, and all of a sudden Chai is going to be a cork in the bottle as the front runners try to make their way through and bridge the gap as much as they can back to Dylan De Bono in P11. You know, De Bono now, he's already made it past Greg Johnson, so he's now pretty much P7 on the road. As Kanitska now comes past Chai, and Chai's getting eaten alive at the front of the field right now. That was an absolute blunder from him to not come into the pits. I wouldn't be surprised if he has to pit under green if he ends up at the back of the field.
Driving there from all of those guys out, there was a chance of contact there with Dawson, but they got through. And at the moment, Chai Philo getting eaten alive by the front runners on what we think fresher rubber, but also with that charge to come home. So we are 22.5 minutes to go in this race, well within that pit window, so I don't think anyone needs to save from here out.
Addy Gerard has been given a drive-through penalty for failure to hold brakes in the incident with Nathan Verney. Also, Verney, I believe, is back out on track, so they've let him return to the circuit. They haven't disqualified him for towing without permission.
He's a lap down, so I don't think...
He's more than a lap down. He's about 7 laps down at the moment.
Ah, okay.
So he's well out of contention.
I don't think that they gave him a waiver around there. But
Oh.
maybe part of it. Or Ratcliffe, something's happened to Ratcliffe. He's tumbling down the field as well. Something's got going again.
It appears to have straight line turn 1. And now he's plopped down to the back of the field. And is out of contention at this stage. Ratcliffe, though, this is how it happened to him. So he was in behind, I believe, Cullen Hodgkinson down towards turn 1. Goes for it down the inside. Maybe a bit overzealous under brakes. Oh, my God. He was so lucky not to hit Hodgkinson then.
Lion so lucky not to get collected up by another car. All the guys there seeing him and able to take a narrow line through T1 because he was right. Like, that happens in a V8 supercar and there are multiple cars crashing into you because you can't take that tighter line through T1. But these cars here, gripping up, able to sort of, you know, cut it down and roll out and make sure they got through that corner. But at the moment, De Bono 8. He's got some work to do, but I suppose in his favour is the fact that, you know, the field was bunched up under the safety coach, so he hasn't lost too much time. But track position is king around this track.
Ratcliffe's had another spin down in the FD section once again. So he is really, really struggling on those tyres after that moment with Hodgkinson. He was one of those drivers who have pit. So he's got fresher rubber, but he's probably now cooked it about, well done at this point.
He might be. He's requesting a tow, I think.
No, he's still going.
Oh, he's got to go on.
The leader's coming around now, so he's at risk of going up
there.
down.
That almost might have been safety car number 4, but he got it going, so you're still in it, Hamish.
I've only got the last 15 minutes, mate. So.
Well, it's only got to be 15, doesn't it? That's right, because they won't call it in the last 5.
They may not even call it in the last 10.
Nathan Verney has been given that penalty for towing without permission.
There we go.
Unfortunately, an accidental click of a button does not exonerate you.
Brad Hayes in the chat, great to have you in here. Brad, you have missed a hell of a race so far, my friend. 40 minutes in. Well, I would say watch the rest of this one and then go back and watch what you've missed as Matt Gerard's night goes from bad to worse. Who's on my film? He's down the back. He's had another incident on track here in the Velocity SimLabs machine. It's down into the FD section, caught the curb. What's he done? Is he over-rotated into the... Yep, big wiggle, and then bang. Oh, very lucky not to get caught in the wall there, and then into the other wall as well. Oh, yeah, you hate to see it for Matty.
I got to turn. Yeah, you can see there, didn't want to turn after banging that inside
he's
left.
Actually also jumped to pits without permission as well, because he's had, I believe, a third, which may have just been him at the other side of the wall. Yep.
I'd say he's already used his fast repair. That car's toast.
Yep.
Because it looks like he has left the session. Yeah, didn't want to turn in, and he's towed.
And Shane Ratcliffe's also had another one in the Formula D section once again in front of the leaders. Lucky not to collect them. Oh, is this going to be a similar incident, or is he just going to pull it up to let him pass? He's pulling it up to let him pass. So
yeah.
That's okay.
Getting out of the way there.
Oh, I was worried for a second there. Well, is he going to take out Dave here or what? But only about 13 minutes to go. Not 13 minutes, about 18 minutes to go in this race. Dave Roberts leads to Marcus.
You're exactly taking that 5 off for the safety car there when you were thinking, weren't you?
I know the narrative of play. I have the script. No. What laps are the top 7 pit? They pit on lap 15. The top 6 cars pit on lap 15. De Bono pit on lap 20. We have probably lost quite a few laps since being under safety car for probably about half of this race.
Yeah, Race Labs is telling me it's going to go for another maybe 15 laps. If it stays as it is. So, but well within the pit window, these guys don't have to save anymore. There's been enough safety cars. Enough time's been taken out of this race to make it a bona fide one-stopper now. And, but they can just contact there. Little Gowans sort of got it caught. Who's that going slow?
That's
that Neil.
So
maybe that's what caused a little bit of a check-up there from Gowans. He's got Sinkers in front of him now. Neil just getting well out of the way there, I think.
Hey, you know what? Sinker came in on lap 9. I made a prediction that he'd be in the top 10 here tonight. Whether it actually happens or not, as O'Neill's had an incident with Rossonita at turn 1, and we missed it as we just clicked away. So O'Neill is really struggling around this Long Beach circuit. So is Rossonita, apparently. So we came down to turn 1. So Rossonita wanted it down the inside of Sheafy. Not fully committed, and then causes the contact, and then O'Neill just has to pull it up. Unfortunately for Callum, I believe that appears to be his fault, but we'll leave it up to race control. Maybe a little bit overzealous on the overtake.
He might be lucky that Sheafy doesn't appear to have picked up too much damage out of it, so... into the side pod, we've seen what happens to the Venturi tunnels. You get a little bit of damage in that side pod in
Oh,
F1.
there's been contact with Gowans and Gallo!
Oh.
What?
Got cars coming through, there's more contact as well. Rossonita caught up in it as well. Oh, just keep an eye on everything here.
So there was lap traffic Oh no, it was Sinkovic. It wasn't even the lap traffic, and they've all tried to pull it up. Sinker's not known that Gowans is going for the move. Gallows had to straight line the corner. Then all the traffic came through. Oh my God.
Oh, and I think we might have another safety car holding position.
Yeah, it's Scott Pocock holding position. Wow, wow, wow. I'm not even mad that I have to bow out and say that you've got the prediction bang on at the moment, Cowie.
Oh, I don't know. I think he might have been given permission to tow then.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see. As half the field has now had to come into the pits off the back of that incident. I'm not sure if Dean's going to get a penalty or not off the back of that one. Can't really comment on it. It was too tough to call from our angles. But man, oh man,
He's fresh from a week off, isn't he? For some.
He is indeed. He went
points.
Yeah, he went on an R&D holiday, research and development. As half the field is now in the lane. 15 minutes to go in this race. 10 minutes to go until no more safety cars are going to get called. Barbs is over the radio. What's he saying, Cowie?
I think he's been given permission to tow, so we're looking at this field. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in the pits, I think, at the moment. Chifilo coming out, looks like he... oh no, he's coming into the pits now, is he?
Yeah, he's now in his pit box.
That's going to cost him a lot of positions.
It is, but importantly...
Front runners check up here, and look at Daniel Byrne, driver 808. He's back in the mix now as well. So another one of those drivers that took advantage of that first or second safety car, the one coming up on halfway, and that's giving him a great advantage.
The top 4 are all together at the moment. That's Katakazinos, who's down a lap at this stage in time. That was Katakazinos who moved out the way of Dawson, so he's out of sync at the moment. Dylan DeBono's had a moment. Oh my God, and it's down into the FD section as well.
Oh, catching a few drivers out tonight. Those bumps, trying to use a bit of that curbing. I did say it's sort of one of the sections where you can use the curbing there, but obviously if you get it wrong, it's going to spit you out. And that's what we've seen. So DeBono with a spin, and now right in the middle, and he's just gone deep.
Very lucky not to hit the wall.
Outbroke himself. Yep, just outbroke himself.
What did we say about DeBono? We know he struggled trying to chase down other drivers in the past, trying to get the moves done, trying to get back up to the top step. When he's on the top step, he is as cool as a cucumber, but it appears under the pressures of tonight and making the mistake of not pitting underneath the first safety car, it's hurting the mentality at the moment.
I think he's one of those drivers that can drive the car at 100% most of the time. When he's out in front, he can dial it back a little bit and control the race. Whereas, when he's in the middle, he's battling hard, and he's right on the edge every lap. And as I've said, before, when you're driving like that, that's where you'll be fast. But that means, a little mistake can be around the corner because you're just right on the edge of your level of grip.
See here, the leaders coming past some lap traffic there of Kevin O'Neill. The bottom 15 cars are all now at least 1 lap down on the leader, as Martin Walker's now been passed by David Gallo in the background for P12 on the road. As we currently stand with 12.5 minutes left in this race, it's Dave Roberts leading to Marcus Knitska in a Pace Syndicate 1-2 with Daniel Byrne from Carlin's Motorsport P3, Alan Dawson in P4 at the moment for Riot, and Ben Brook for Frog Leap Juice Racing making up the top 5. He's P1 on the road for the Pro-Ams. Keegan Corbell has managed to keep himself a clean race here tonight, finds himself inside the top 10, and P1 in the amateurs, P6 on the road. Dylan DeBono in behind him, Dean Sinkovic inside the 10, Hodgson and Johnson make up the 10. As I've commentator cursed him, he's had a spin. You could not have... Sheefy's also been involved. That's Sheefy requesting the tow. I had to mention that Keegan had a clean race, didn't I? I had to mention it.
Safety cars. Oh, come on.
Oh, we're not quite at 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, well, he let him tow there, though. So no call safety car. Oh, look at this. Oh.
You know what? I reckon Keegan has us on in the background, and that's put him off. That's what I reckon it was.
Oh, he's come around.
And he's had to pull it up as well. So he also needs
Caldwell got caught up in... Sorry, it was... Caldwell got caught up in that, I think, as well. He's the car that comes flying around the corner.
No, it was Sheafy who came around the corner. So Caldwell had the initial contact. And then Sheafy came around the corner, nowhere to go. Caldwell's across the track and banged into him.
Safety car called by race control. There it is. We have our fourth safety car of the evening. Sheafy saying there goes his race. It's unfortunate, buddy. We did say it is one of the perils of Long Beach as you come around the corner and someone's made a boo-boo. Sometimes you've got nowhere to go but straight into them. And that does appear to us what's happened with Caldwell there in the corner. So.
Hutto giving the love to Greg Johnson here. He could be provisional leader of this race. But let's think about this for a second. So Dean Singovich came in on lap 9. He leads the amateurs. We've had, 4 safety cars now. If he's been fuel saving, can he make it home from this point? Because we're probably going to get to 5 minutes to go, which will be about, I think it'll be, 2 or 3 laps left once we go green again?
Oh, 10 minutes to go. Look, I think it's worth a roll of the dice there, Cinco. So he's up 19 at the moment, up 19 positions. I think you'd have to roll the dice.
You have to go for the risk, surely.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I know I would.
Also, I'd just like to point out, in our pre-race talk, I said it'd be 3 or 4 safety cars. No, Dean's come in. So he's ruined that. But I did say 3 or 4, but I'm not mad that we've had 4. I'm really not. Oh. It was always going to be a big safety car night affair, big showcase for the safety car here tonight. I hope Leakey was ready to get out on track and cut laps, because if he wasn't, well, he's just ended up having a poor night.
Well,
having a race.
Done all right, because there doesn't appear to be any scrapes on that safety car. We have seen it, say hello to the wall from time to time, and maybe some other cars. But, well, we are going to be on for another grandstand finish here on our Wednesday night Shannon's Formula 3 Nationals. I've been commentating these cars, well, sorry, not these cars, I've been commentating the F3s, pretty much from the word go, back almost 3 years ago now. I think it is 3 years ago. But these moments, when the field's bunched back together and everyone's fighting and there's only a few laps left, these are the moments when you want to put yourselves in those positions. You want to see the drivers have a go. And at the moment, the teammates of Roberts and Konitska here, well, they are the ones that get to control the show. And we'll see how good a rear guard Konitska can be, because he's got Dawson right behind him and Byrne coming home strong after a spin early in this race.
I would also like to point out in our pre-race chat that I said it wouldn't be a Carlins or a Velocity driver to win this race.
You did say it, man, and I just think, those front 4 or 5 cars there missed a trick and didn't realise that they could get home when that sort of safety car happened 20-odd minutes into the race. I mean, DeBono now in P6, so he's certainly not out of the equation. But, it's still not the easiest place to pass, so, still plenty of work to be done, but I don't think a podium is out of the equation for DeBono fighting back here.
Well, we know that this track can provide any amount of carnage and any amount of chaos and ground shaking moments. We've already seen a heap of them happen here tonight. Change of lead multiple times, a change of possible winner multiple times as well. The pressure's gone up a notch now, Cowie. We're going to go green likely at the end of this lap, if not the next lap. We're going to have about 5 minutes of green running home because there won't be another safety car after this one. What that means is it means that now all the pressure is going to be on those top 5 or 6 cars to try and get a good getaway, try and keep it clean, and just try and remain in the fight to that final lap. Roberts, Konitska, Dawson. Konitska and Dawson took their first ever wins this season. Roberts has never had a win in the F3 here on Wednesday nights. We could get a first-time winner. We've also got defending Formula 1 Shadow Series champion, former F3 champion, Daniel Byrne, P4 on the road. We've got DeBono, who looks to be champion-elect this season, P6 on the road. Ben Brook, who was last season's IMSA champion, P5 on the road. And a couple of outsiders in Hodgson, Johnson, and Rossonita, with Gallo defending champion of Season 1 in the top 10. This race can go anywhere. It could be anyone's in the next 5 or so minutes of this race. And anything can happen and anything could change the game. Any of those boys could get on that top step here tonight.
Steph and Sheepy both pointing out that over half of the field are a lap down. So quite a few waverings there from race control, but 13 cars at that stage on the lead lap. Looks like it's now we're up to about 17 on the lead lap. So, 5 minutes, a bit over 5 minutes to go. We'll see if the safety car isn't pulling away, so does that mean they're going to be another lap?
It'll be one more lap,
be another lap here, yeah.
So we're going to have probably around about 3 or 4 minutes of green racing to the end.
Yeah. So definitely going to be a spicy finish here. Can the team of Roberts and Konitska hold off the Dawsons, the Burns, the Brooks, the DeBonos behind them? This is a pure battle amongst the pros for the top 6, and then a
couple of pro-ams in there as well, Cowie. Brooks leading the pro-ams.
Yeah, Brooks a pro-am, sorry, that's right. So
with
P5,
Hodgkinson not too far behind.
P7 as well, Hodgkinson,
Jono's looking to get his first ever class win in amateurs here tonight as well, ahead of Rosanita. Sinkovic isn't too far outside the top 10 with Trikins, Zulfillo and David Gallo ahead of him.
Mado is pointing out a couple of interesting things here. So looking at before this race, it was Tessuero, Schmalenberg, Mitch Noble leading the AMs, right? Mitch is out, Pim's in the pits, and Matt Tessuero, he's multiple laps down as well. So the AM Championship has just been turned on its head in one race. Pro-Am, well, the same thing. You got Sam Katagazinas. He had jumped ahead of Callan Hodgkinson. He's now got to fall off a fair bit down. Hodgkinson is looking for a big haul of points here tonight. Nathan Verney, he's well back, got caught in incidents as that as well. So the other person fighting that championship. So this is really starting to spice it up. And if DeBono can't move forward from 6th, that might help to bridge the gap on him as well. So definitely a one of those races, a little bit of a roulette spin of the wheel here for the championship.
Well, Cam Hardwick claiming safety cars stayed out one lap too long here. They stayed out, Cam, because half the field had a wave around and they got to be able to allow them to get back up onto the back of the leaders. If they had gone green last lap, the leaders probably would have caught any incidents that happened ahead of them, and that could then ruin their race. So they want to try and give them clear track ahead, clear road ahead to push on and race on. Safety cars coming in. We're going to go green. We're going to have 3 minutes of green running in this race. It'll likely give us probably 3 laps in this race. Anything can happen in this one. All the pressure now is on Roberts and Konitska to work together to get this 1-2 finish for Pace Syndicate, their first ever in the Shannon's Formula 3 Nationals. It's them versus Dawson versus Byrne. Brooke and DeBono are in there too.
Right away.
And it's going to be a sprint to the end as Roberts leads them away onto lap 37 here. 57.5 minutes left in proceedings. And Roberts right now has only got that 2.5 minutes to become a first-time winner here in the F3s.
Sinkovic, did he pit? I think he must have. He's back in P10, P12 at the moment. So didn't have enough to get to the end there, so I thought it was a bit early. Though, maybe he could have stayed out there and rolled the dice. I don't know.
Mark Hoffman claiming DeBono is going to make it back to P1. It's going to be a tough ask for him with only 2 minutes to go in this race. Dave Roberts is going to come round.
On Brooke.
He has.
He's already passed Brooke.
I think we're only going to have probably 1 lap to go here, Cowie, when they cross the line. Burns got past Konitska. He's dropped and he's hit the wall down at turn 8. And that has now completely changed it, as Roberts is now the sole survivor for Pace Syndicate at the front of the field. Dawson P2, Byrne P3, and DeBono is fast approaching that podium finish, where it's going to be 1 lap to go when they cross the line.
Oh, I don't know if that was
it might be 2 laps,
I
actually.
didn't see they were close together at that time there. But definitely the 1-2 was there for the taking, unfortunately.
I think we may have enough time in the tank for 2 more laps. He crossed the line at 58.5 minutes. It is, of course, a 1 minute 13 or 14 lap. Dawson and Byrne battling it out here for the top 2, for P2 and P3 on the road. As as they come on through. De Bono's back in P4 now as they continue on forward. 1 minute left in the race. It's going to be 1 lap to go when they cross the line. Roberts is checked out. 1.5 seconds is now the gap. Dawson just trying to chase him down and survive with Byrne in behind him. De Bono trying to keep the pressure on him. This is the battle for the minors on the podium. All pros on offer here for the podium. Brooke and Hodgson get to go one-on-one for the Pro-Am win, as Johnson's now dropped out of the lead of the amateurs, with Rosanita leading the way for them in P8.
Oh, what happened to Johnson? He's
just dropped spots. He's been under
been
attack.
picked up as well. Callum Hodgkinson now running Brooke's still running the flag for the Pro-Ams, and Rosanita now running the flag for the AMS P8. Having a great race tonight.
1 lap to go at Long Beach. 1 more lap for Dave Roberts to survive. It's pure attrition at this point. He's got a good gap, 1.3 seconds over Dawson in behind him in P2 on the road. De Bono's back in P4. May just think to himself, let's just try and consolidate the points position. Let's not try and risk getting an extra 4 points to get onto the podium. As Roberts comes round into the double right section with Dawson Byrne behind him as well as De Bono. They continue on, but they look like they could be set, but they'll be ready to take anything if anything happens to the cars ahead.
I know Dylan De Bono will be hunting for this final spot because he'll want to have a chat to us. This is the podium spot there in front of him. Unfortunately, Doug Gowan's given a black flag for an unsafe rejoin causing contact, so part of that incident probably brought out that second last safety car, I think it was. But these guys here all battling hard. This is the final lap of this motor race, and it looks like Roberts is going to do enough to hang on here, Hamish. Only 1 corner to go.
As he comes round the final corner, Long Beach has claimed many a victims in its time, but one thing it'll also do is give us a brand new winner in Shannon's Formula 3 Nationals action. Roberts comes home P1. De Bono's had an absolute carnage incident at the final corner, and he drops out of the 10 before the line even happens.
That's De Bono Gallo. I saw them exchanging positions there coming into the last section there, and they've had it coming together. And look at the cars bottlenecked behind them, trying to find a way through. That is a big moment for the championship. Our 2 front runners looks like they may well end up with DNFs tonight. Oh, De Bono just lost it.
Spin. And then he's parked it up. He's tried to do the flick spin to come around, but he's done it right in front of them. He's then come to get back on the road. Oh, Gallo doesn't even know he's there. And then they've just had the coming together.
Oh no. So that is going to have ramifications for the championship. When we just thought that Long Beach had delivered its fair share of carnage, we get some on the final corner, and it has major championship ramifications. Wow.
Well, I don't think Long Beach could have ended any other way tonight, Cowie, as I mean...
I predicted carnage. I got it right with the safety cars, but we got more than just normal sort of, iRacing level carnage here tonight, buddy. That is, we're still going to be talking about these ramifications next week when we see what the table looks like, but big moments tonight, and looks like all 3 championships standings have been turned on their heads.
That has now completely changed the game in terms of championship standings, as you mentioned. Provisional race results for tonight's affairs on your screens now. Dave Roberts takes his maiden win in the Shannon's Formula 3 Nationals for Pate Syndicate, ahead of Alan Dawson for Riot Sim Racing and Daniel Byrne from Carlin's Motorsport. Ben Brook will then take home the honours for the Pro-Ams in P4, ahead of Callan Hodgson, who was P2 for his class. Callum Rosanita will then take P1 for the amateurs, ahead of Chai Kinzel-Philo, who finds himself on the podium for the first time for the Pro-Ams. Greg Johnson, Steve Sinkovich. Sinker made the top 10. I told you Sinker would get a top 10 here tonight, and he did. And Katakazinos makes up the top 10 after a massive comeback in this one, ahead of his teammate Martin Walker, Kevin O'Neill, Marcus Knitska, Kevin Wakefield, Doug Gowans. They were the last cars on the lead lap as De Bono, Gallo, Ratcliffe, Matisic, as we move
before
down.
You close that down, Hamish, have a look at it before you close it down.
So look here. Yeah, De Bono's a lap down. Gallo's a lap down. Ratcliffe, Matisic, Caldwell, Verney, Sheaf, King, Pocock, Gerard, Schmalenberg, Cochran, Schmalenberg, all off the lead lap in this one, and it just gets bigger and bigger as you get down the timing tower.
And that's championship contenders all in that
I
bottom
know.
10, 15 cars. Now, go back up to the top lot and just have a look. If Callum Rossanita finished 7th, we would have had all the first 3 positions.
I know.
First 9 positions taken up by all the 3 classes in a row. Even then, we still just had... Yeah, that's right. I was looking at it going, wow. So, Callum, you ruined the look there, buddy, but well done, P6. I'm sure you're going to be pretty stoked with that.
And here are our class honours, of course, per class. It was Rossanita to Johnson to Sinkovic, then O'Neill, Wakefield, Matisic, Caldwell, Schmalenberg, Tessiero, who will unfortunately get a disqualification before towing without permission. And then for the Pro-Ams here tonight, it was Brooke to Hodgkinson to Kinzel, Philo to Katakazinos to Walker to Ratcliffe to Verney to Sheaf to King. And then Gerard will likely get, he's having a post-race investigation for his incident. Cochrane and then Benici never got started. And then for the pros here tonight, it was Roberts to Dawson to Byrne to Knitska to Gowans to DeBono to Gallo to Pocock. And man, oh man, what a wild race, Cowie. What an absolute wild affair here tonight for Long Beach.
I'm looking at things. I think Sam Katakazinos maybe dodged a bullet, ended up finishing 10th, getting a wave round at the end there, and then all that carnage. So he's probably dodged a bullet because he had that big moment early on, but the waiver rounds and the safety cars have sort of bunched it all together for him. So, maybe a bit of damage control tonight for Sam. But yeah, that AM class, it's been thrown on its head. And, with, where is he? DeBono finishing, 16th, Gallo finishing 17th. That throws a big condenses that pro field up, and I think we're going to see things a lot tighter as the season moves on after the carnage of tonight settles.
Well, what we will do now is we will drag in our amateur winner, of course, for Callum Rossanita. Unfortunately for Jono and for Sinker, they didn't get to come have a chat to us because they didn't get P1 on the road for their class. So we will drag in Mr. Rossanita now. Callum Rossanita, you get the honours for the amateurs here tonight. How does it feel to finally get a class win under your belt and at a track like this where carnage was absolutely anywhere and everywhere out there, even up until the final moments on the last lap?
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy tonight. I think I saw a lot of dead people.
Yeah,
well, it did seem like you needed a bit of a sixth sense to be able to operate around here. P6 as well, Callum, in the scheme of things. So for once, you managed to stay afoul of all of the mess.
Yeah. I don't know how I pulled that off. I've had my fair share of making messes, but tonight I tried to keep it clean and had a couple of moments, but I think I managed to survive okay out of them. Didn't pick up a lot of damage. Just some little bumps here and there.
Well, we saw you go for a move into turn 1 on Sheafy, Callan. That may have been a little bit overzealous where you tried to dive him down the inside, then give him a little nudge on the side pod. Were you a little bit more self-reflective after that one and thinking maybe you shouldn't have gone for it at that point, maybe you should have been a little bit more committed? How'd you feel after that one?
I'll honestly have to watch the replay on that one. I honestly thought I was alongside and that he'd have to give me the room, but that is a place I got to work on because sometimes I'm not. I go back and watch the replay afterwards and I realise, oh, actually I'm not as far up as I thought I was. It's just something I got to work on. I think the red mist descends and you just like you just send it, So it's something that I'm trying to work on. I'll look at the replay and see what actually happened.
Well, what this is now...
maybe that was a bit bold.
Yeah. What this has now done, though, is from these performances here tonight, you now are P2 in the Amateur Championship in behind Greg Johnston, who now sits P1. So after the complete coin flip of Long Beach and after everything it's offered us here tonight, it's now reshaped the championship order and put you in a much better position in that championship, obviously getting that top 10 finish and the top 6 finish, really. But I guess, it was a big night of racing, a heap of survival out there, I guess. You said you saw a lot of dead cars. Would you call Long Beach the dead center of town for California?
Oh, yeah. It's like a graveyard.
Yeah. Well, luckily for us, though, there is no Walking Dead in Long Beach. But Callum, let us know who helps get you on circuit. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well? And a big congratulations on your class win here tonight.
Thank you, and thanks to all the boys at Triple F that give me motivation and give me coaching and help me improve. And thanks to my family for watching.
Very good, mate. Well, best of luck next week out at Motegi. It's looking like it could maybe be a little bit of a moist one out there, so maybe prepare for that one. Maybe check the radar of what could come. But if we don't get a chance to speak to you, best of luck for the rest of the season as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks, mate. All right, Cowie, we'll drag in our Pro-Am winner. We get to talk to Callum and Callan here tonight. Ironically, they both started on the 10th row of the grid beside each other, and they then found themselves beside each other in P5 and P6 at the end of it. Absolutely wild.
Well, let's drag him down.
We've got him
Have
in
a
here.
chat to him. Callan Hodgkinson. What's that? P5 on the road and P1 for the Pro-Am class. How did you survive the concrete jungle
I've just
tonight,
realised Callan finished P2 in class, but we haven't got Brenbrook to chat to. So we'll chat to Callan. He showed up and chat to us. We've already dragged him in. So,
yeah, I just realised that as well. It hasn't updated in IRacing.
That's okay. That's okay. But I mean, I guess you can talk to us about how it was out there from a Pro-Am perspective. You know, it was a tough race, it seemed, and just a race of pure tenacity and attrition. We were mentioning that both you and Callum started alongside each other in P19 and P20, and then you finish alongside each other in the race in the top 10.
Yeah, what a race. That's to be expected in a track like that with this car, but I didn't get my qualifying time in, so I was down in the Carnage area, which I ended up on my roof, and I had to get my lap back once. Ended up getting my lap back twice, so I was very lucky there was a couple of big crashes there where half the field went a lap down, or I managed to get through, and just Stephen Bradbury back up to the top 10. So I'll take it.
Would it seem to be a night like that? Getting those wave rounds a couple of times. I suppose that's not something you expect normally. Normally, when you go a lap down, you're gone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'll take it tonight and take good haul of points. Yeah.
Well, Callan, we appreciate you coming and have a chat to us nonetheless. Completely bottled it and forgot that you didn't finish on the top step, but we appreciate you coming and have a chat to us anyway and giving us the Pro-Am perspective. Congratulations on your P2 here tonight. Let us know who helps you get on track. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well, and who helps get you boys a Blackout OPR out there as well.
Yeah, thanks guys. Blackout OPR. So thanks to those guys, Sim Rigs, Palmerston Bakery, Jennifer Russell Real Estate, and I'll have to refresh my memory on a few of the other sponsors, guys, with the new team. But yeah, thanks to you guys and thanks to SRW. Cheers.
No worries, mate. Thank you. Best of luck next week out at Motegi. And if we don't get a chance to speak to you, best of luck for the rest of the season.
Please.
Thank you. All right, Cowie. Well, I suppose we'll be dragging in our P3 now in Daniel Byrne. I hope Sinker and Jono don't have a go at us for this because we accidentally brought in Callan. But Daniel Byrne, driver 808, you return into the series here tonight. You look to be off the pace a little bit, but by pure survival, you managed to find your way in the top 3. But what an end to that race it was. I don't know if you saw what happened behind you with your teammate and Dylan DeBono. It was a wild end to this race, but you managed to survive for long enough to find yourself in P3 here tonight.
Yeah, the ending was probably maybe a bit controversial because I had to look back and I'm not sure who was at fault there, but I could see DeBono was behind me and I was thinking I could see him in my mirrors. I'm thinking he's carrying a lot of speed through this corner. Is he going to try and poke his nose on the inside here? And I lost sight of him and I locked up a little bit and I'm thinking, I stuffed up this corner now. I've got the worst exit. I'm thinking, where is he? I'm thinking he should be beside me somewhere. I'm looking around going, where's he gone? And then David came on the comms and said, oh no, me and DeBono just crashed. I was like, oh no. So yeah, that was crazy ending. But yeah, I was definitely a little bit off the pace. At the start, I had a really bad run with quali. I was getting caught up in lots of lots of small incidents, and having my laps ruined a couple of times, and then ruining it myself as well. So it was pretty messy. But yeah, just staying consistent, keeping it clean, and it paid off in the end. So happy with that.
Bit of rust. You've been off the. We haven't seen you for a few weeks, Stan. Have you been off the rig, or you been racing elsewhere, or is it just a bit of rust creeping in, maybe, buddy?
Yeah. I've been off the rig, so I've missed the last 2 races in this car now. So yeah, it was definitely jumping back in, and then this track as well. I just didn't have the confidence to push it as hard as I know I can, because I did some lap times yesterday, and I was a lot quicker than this. I was doing 12.7, so I know if I'm not scared of the walls, I could have gone a lot quicker, but I think it paid off because I survived, I didn't kill myself, and I'm on the podium, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, well, we saw that spin early on, probably on cold rubber, but, as you said, maybe it's sort of put you far enough back there that you missed a bit of the other carnage, but, great drive, perfect fuel strategy. That was that second safety car about 20 odd minutes in. Were you a bit surprised that a few of the front runners didn't jump in then?
Yeah, I was surprised. Like banking on there going to be more safety cars, I thought it was probably a safe bet to jump in there, so I did myself. Yeah, my teammate was ahead of me, and he was there with Dylan as well, and I was surprised he didn't jump in. I didn't think I'd need to tell him to jump in, but he's gone ahead, and I said, all right, I'm jumping in. We'll see how it plays out. And
So
I think
was it in the window? Was the window still debatable at that time, was it?
At that time, I'm not sure if I would have made it to the end, but I was pretty sure there was going to be another safety car. So I was that far back. I think I was in P10 or something like that. It was enough for me to, take the gamble. I've got nothing really to lose. I may as well try, and you never know, I might get track position later on, and that's exactly what happened. So it worked out well.
Oh, Daniel, Motegi next week, the weather front is looking to possibly be a little bit wet for next week. Not ready to divulge how wet. You'll have to check the weather radar on that one, but could that be a bit of a challenge for some of the competitors out there? Obviously, the first wet race, I believe, of this regular F3 season ever since the last time we went to Japan for Fuji before the season started. How do you think that's going to shake it up? Because we know that some drivers really struggled in the rain last time, and well, we've already had a race now that's completely changed the game in terms of where people stand in this championship, and having one next week, could that really shake things up even more again?
Yeah, I think so. I think yeah, the rain definitely will, but I think the likes of Dylan and David, I think, and a couple of the other guys, I think they'll still be on the pace. But yeah, it's just a little easier just to make a small mistake and it costs you, So it could shake things up. And I think I counted myself out of this championship, so I came into this race thinking, whatever, I'll just have fun and have a race. But I mean, with David and Dylan coming together there, I think it's really going to shake up the points, I think. So might make it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, next week the track's good. The track suits the car. The rain, I'm not so sure about. I'm not looking forward to that.
Well, it should be a good test nonetheless. But let us know who helps get you and Carlin's Motorsport out on track. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well? And once again, a big congratulations on your P3 here tonight.
Cheers. Yep. Shout outs to Carlin's Motorsport, Drive Radar 8, Glam Radar, Little Rara, Eagles Automotive, and shout outs to Atari, Bianca, Frenchie and Minka, and Zach and Levi.
Very good, mate. Well, best of luck for Motegi next week, and if we don't get a chance to speak to you, best of luck for the rest of the season ahead.
Thanks a lot, guys. Speak soon. Bye.
Thanks, mate. Okay, we'll drag in our P2 in Mr. Alan Dawson. Mr. Dawson, this is becoming a regular affair now for you to come and chat to us on the podium.
Yeah, no, that's definitely getting the hang of it now, so it's kind of good to be up there and actually be on pace with some of the quicker guys tonight.
Well, how was the test of survival skills out there tonight? Was it a bit like being Bear Grylls in the middle of nowhere, or was it kind of just hope and pray you make it around the corner and no one's in front of you on the exit?
Well, lucky enough for being up the front, qualified up the front, so I think I only had one spin in front of me. That was pretty close, unfortunate for him, because he was in P2 at the time, and I think a lap car come out of pits and almost rear-ended him. That was my scary moment.
It's been pretty tight out there at times, but we're expecting the level of carnage we got tonight, Alan. I know you've only been with us a short time, but there was a fair few safety cars called out there tonight.
At the end of the day, it's Long Beach. It always seems to happen. Doesn't matter what car you're driving, there's always seems to be someone stuck on a wall or they get glitched off the track, one of the two.
Alan, I have a quick question for you. I was going back to some of my old broadcasts I did last year. Did you race in a series called Simsa last year?
Nah, not at all. There is another person.
There's another
out there that's
Alan
staying
Dawson,
on.
but they have one L, and I didn't know if I just misspelt the name on that one. But I guess, Long Beach coin flipped the championship a little bit here tonight. Next week with rain at Motegi could also coin flip it again. How are you feeling going into these final couple of rounds now, knowing you've had a good position here tonight? The top two in the championship have had a crash out, and they've ended up further back down the field and a lap down. Does this now maybe think, could there be an opportunity for you to get a good position in this championship, possibly even the top step if you can have a strong run over the next couple of rounds?
At the end of the day, I'm just happy having a good time racing hard with these guys because they all seem to be pretty good, pretty fair, and if I'm in the top 10 at the end of the season, mate, that's a bonus at the end of the day.
Oh, mate, hopefully that can all pay off for you. We've had a lot of fun watching you develop over this season, not only in the F3s, but also the supercar. So hopefully it can continue on over the next 4 rounds. But let us know who helps get you and Right Sim Racing out on track, and anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well.
Just a big shout out to Defenders for Hope. Say no to best domestic violence. Right Sim Racing in Focus, and 3D printing needs for all your Etsy printed needs. Thanks, guys.
Very good, mate. Well, best of luck for Twin Wing Motegi next week. And if we don't get a chance to speak to you, best of luck for the rest of the season ahead.
Awesome, mate. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Kelly, we'll drag in our latest first-time winner in the Shannon's Formula 3 Nationals. Of course, it is Dave Roberts from Pace Syndicate. Dave, you guys looked like you were going to be on for a 1-2 finish there up towards the end of the race, and then, Marcus completely bottled it for you, but you got the job done, and you came home P1, and you are now our newest race winner in the series. How's that feel, buddy?
Yeah, it feels fantastic. I don't know whether I'm more disappointed about Marcus not finishing behind me, or more excited about winning. But it was an awesome race. It was good to get it done.
So now getting to the fuel strategy, we're talking to Daniel, who made the same call as you coming in on that safety car 20-odd minutes in. Was fuel still a bit debatable then? Were you counting on more safety cars to get home?
Actually, I came in on the first safety car.
Was the first one? Well,
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
one. And, I mean, it was the second one because there was one that was only 5 minutes into the race. So.
Oh, sorry.
you didn't
Yeah,
get
no,
that
that's
one.
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was the second one. Yeah, the second real one. I don't know. No, I think by the time we had like 2 safety cars, we knew we were okay. So at that, Marcus and I were both praying and hoping to get a few more, and we knew it was a pretty good bet.
Hey, were you surprised that the likes of DeBono and Gallo didn't come in on that stop?
Well, DeBono was so close to the pit exit when the safety car came out, so he didn't have much time to think about it, and we were able to just kind of dive in. So yeah, a little bit surprised, and it always makes you second guess your own choices when the fast guys aren't coming in as well. But ended up being a good bet.
Well, how are you feeling after such a race of survival, Dave? Obviously had a great qualifying under your belt, managed to keep it up the front for the majority of the way, but also having to survive some of the incidents around the circuit. There was a big incident on the last lap, last corner with both DeBono and Gallo, which then dropped them a lap down on the rest of the field as they couldn't actually finish the race. So this is now going to give you and Marcus a good chunk of points going forward, as well as the likes of Byrne and Dawson. Next week in Motegi, going to be wet, going to be a bit of another coin flip as what tonight was. How do you think that's now going to shape up the rest of this championship going forward? And how do you think you guys might be able to take advantage of that going forward as well?
Yeah, man, it's going to close up big time at the top. So they were running away with it, but with that race, it looks like it's on until the end of the season. So if there's a chance of rain next week, that kind of plays into our hands a little bit, because we probably are a little bit off the pace, some of those guys, but gives us the chance to just like keep it consistent, keep it a little bit safe, and just play the mental game and the long game. And I think it's going to be a similar approach next week. You know, just try and keep it quick and keep it consistent and keep it on the track and out of the pits. Should do all right.
Oh, mate, hopefully you guys can survive the trials and tribulations of Motegi next week. You've already done it this week with Long Beach, although at least you did. Marcus didn't. He bottled that one in the end there. But hopefully you guys can continue this strong run forward. Let us know who helps get you and Pace Syndicate out on track. Anyone else you're going to give a shout out to as well. And for myself and Cowie, massive congratulations on P1 here tonight and your maiden victory in the series.
Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, look, Wormpates is our main sponsor. They do our slick liveries. So if you want a good looking livery, get onto Wormpates. Sim Racing World, you guys and the league admin team, you keep it all going, and obviously the drivers, great driving, great respect out there. It's best league in Oz.
Mate, we love to hear that. Well, best of luck for Twin Ring next week, and if we don't get a chance to speak to you, best of luck for the rest of the season ahead.
Thanks so much, guys. Good night.
Thanks, mate. Well, Cowie, that'll bring an end to proceedings here tonight after a wild and wacky race around Long Beach. But could we expect anything less?
Oh.
I mean, that I put my cup forward and Long Beach filled it up for exactly what I needed. A bit of chaos, changing up how the championship standings now feel right at the midpoint of the season, and it's anyone's game going forward over the next 4 rounds.
Oh, and another safety car victory for myself too.
Yes.
So I'm
But
pretty happy with that.
Hang on, I also had the prediction correct of Sinkovic in the top 10 and a new winner as well.
You did too, buddy. You did as well. So a night of victories for everyone by the seams of it. And I suppose, look, as far as it goes, I think our viewers got a bit of a victory tonight because you couldn't ask for a more topsy-turvy race that kept us enthralled right to the end.
Mate, I could not have asked for anything better, honestly, for tonight. So I'm so happy with how this is panned out for Long Beach. It's given us the perfect example of, hey, do you know how Long Beach races? You should watch this race. This is how Long Beach is. But that will bring it into our broadcast here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Big thank you goes out to all of our series sponsors, including our title sponsors, Shannon's Insurance and Warren & Brown Tools, as well as our other sponsors, Motorsport Australia, Groom Industry, Shunt Scenery, DSL Rail Services, and NeuroPower. We thank you guys so much for giving us your time here tonight or this morning or this afternoon, wherever you may be watching from. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon so you are notified anytime we go racing here on SRWtv, including our Tuesday night V8 Supercars Warren & Brown Tools series, the Wednesday night Shannon's Insurance Formula 3 Nationals, the Thursday night Shannon's Insurance Toyota GR86 Nationals, which is also our Motorsport Australia official series, the Friday night IMSA Shadow Series brought to you by Warren & Brown Tools, and then rounding out our racing week, our Warren & Brown Tools V8 Supercars Super Monday / Sunday during non-scops rounds racing. That'll be on the Monday next Monday night instead of Sunday this week, so it's the first opportunity we get to race on a Monday. Hope to see a lot of you guys in the chat and also on the track as well. But for myself, Hamish Munro and Andrew Cowan alongside me, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you being here with us once again. But until next time, we'll see you tomorrow night where JP and Sinkovic will call the action for the Shannon's Insurance Toyota GR86 Nationals. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and bye for now.
Amazing, I was clash heads again. This is like Chad Mosca and Cam Waters, almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to snip on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because I'll tell you what, Reece Tanak and Jamie Dyke just absolutely drove away from us.